Fresh from the showcase here, we're going to display all of our Cartier in my favorite lineup today. I've got a bunch of selections here that I wanted to talk about because they are my favorite pieces out of the Cartier lineup. And right now I'm wearing a Cartier Roadster, the 100th anniversary XL. And the reason that I'm wearing this watch is because I wanted to answer some questions for a lot of the folks that call in. This is a bigger watch. I wear a watch between 7.5 and 7.75 inch as terms of the bracelet length on my wrist. So that tells you that I have a larger wrist. This watch works very, very well on my wrist. However, if you have a smaller wrist, this one may not be as good for you. It may feel a bit tall and clunky. And the reason is because from lug to lug, this watch is 48 millimeters in length. Now, it's not as wide as it is long, so it doesn't feel super large, but it does have that long presence. And if you have a smaller wrist bone, it can hang off on either side. And the reason this is important is because we have a lot of folks that call in, the blue being my favorite. And obviously, in the lineup of Cartier, when you talk about blues, they have different variations and shades of the blue. And this 100th anniversary has a sort of a turquoise blue-green color, depending on the light that you're in. So that can be very, very interesting. And this original blue Roadster here, this is a 43 millimeter from top of the lug to the bottom of the lug on the watch. And again, the width is not as big, so it doesn't feel as large. And I actually want to show you this on my wrist. I'm going to take off the XL version here. And I want to put on the smaller 43. Now, 43 millimeters is not a small watch by any means, but on my wrist, it can look a little bit smaller by virtue of the fact that it's not as wide. It still looks great. It can be worn casually by someone with a wrist size like mine. It can be a little bit more dressy as well. The larger size probably looks a little bit more sporty because it is that large size that fills in my entire wrist, although with Roadsters, they are still a very classy piece. Now, one of the other things that I absolutely love about the Roadster, they have a bracelet that you can interchange. They have multiple different bracelets you can get from Cartier. They have a little spring set on the back side of the watch. You just pinch it and pull it, and the bracelet comes out very, very quickly. So they have a positive lock engagement. When you put it back into the lugs of the watch, it clicks and it locks, and you can pull. You can see that it's very, very secure. A lot of people ask about that. These are water-resistant watches. They're very easy to wind and set. These throw back to the Art Deco days, which is one of the reasons why I love the watch. It has a lot of influence from automotive design. It has a lot of Art Deco design from the 30s, 40s, and 50s that they all sort of put into these watches to make them classy and sporty at the same time. Now, they no longer offer the Roadster, and these are getting very, very hard to come by. And I do want to make sure that you understand that the colors and the variations on these watches are getting very slim to find in the marketplace. In fact, actually, the prices have gone up over the past few years. The investment value of this watch seems to be pretty steady, and a lot of people ask that question as well. Now, I'm going to actually put these two side by side, and I want to display the Cartier, because this is a Cartier XL, 48 millimeters from top to bottom. There's also the chronograph, and a lot of people don't realize that this is also an XL. And I'm going to set these two down. The Cartier XL chronograph is also 48 millimeters from top to bottom, and this watch is the silver dial. Now, the silver dial is probably one of the single most popular. I happen to prefer the black dial in these. It's very, very hard to find the black dial in these, by the way. One of my other favorite pieces. Now, I'm going to move on to the Tank Solo XL. The interesting thing about this watch, and I want to show you, this Cartier XL Roadster is 48 millimeters from top to bottom. The Tank Solo is 42 millimeters, but by virtue of the fact that the dial goes all the way outside to the outside edge of the case, you tend to notice that this XL Ronde Solo looks huge, but it's not. It's only 42 millimeters, so it's just playing a trick on your mind. Now, I'm going to put this watch on my wrist because then you'll start to see an effective difference in the size. If you have a large wrist like mine, this watch looks just at home, even though it's a 42 millimeter. It's an absolutely amazing looking watch. It's very thin and it's dressy. Now, moving on to the watch here. This is the Ballon Bleu. Now, I picked out the Ballon Bleu because of the fact that it's got the black dial. I absolutely love this watch. It's on a strap. You can get it on the bracelet. They're pretty hard to find in the black dial, so do remember that. What you typically find is the silver dial in this. Sometimes we even have the brown dial in this, which is a really great looking piece. They do come in a rose gold and stainless steel option. And this again is a 42 millimeter. But because of the way that the shape of the case looks here and the way that it's rounded and tapers on the end, it looks just a smidge smaller than even the Ronde Solo XL, even though they're physically the same size in terms of width. Now I'm going to put this one on my wrist. I want you to be able to see this watch looks right at home. It's also dressy, and I really think that it's got a great casual look as well. It's easy to wear, and this happens to be the chronograph version. There's a 3-hand version of this watch as well. I absolutely love the way that this watch looks. I could wear this every day without question. I'm going to move on to the Santos XL. The Santos XL is another mind trick. It's a visual trick. This watch is 38 millimeters by 38 millimeters. In fact, actually, it's probably more like 39 millimeters by 39 millimeters because it's actually 38 and a half. So this watch actually looks physically larger than it really is. And a lot of people ask, this is the XL version of the Santos 100, and they want to know, will this watch look too big on my wrist? Well, let's answer that question. When I put it on my wrist, it looks right at home. But if you have a smaller wrist, you probably don't want the XL. There's several different sizes and versions of the Santos 100. So you definitely want to give us a call and ask us about what size might be right for you. Again, if you have a larger wrist, the XL is probably the one that you would want. Or if you just like wearing a bigger watch than the average size for your wrist, then this would be a great choice. Santos is a really great watch. And one of the things about this watch is it does have the butterfly clasp, even though it is on the strap. And it has an infinitely adjustable strap here so that you can custom tailor it just to the right size of your wrist as well. This is one of my favorite Santos models. Now, this happens to be the Solo. So this is a watch that's a version, these are both Solos here. This is an XL and this is a Tank. So the round versus the rectangular pattern, even though this watch is 40 millimeters tall, they look similar in their length, even though they're not. And you have to hold them side by side to be able to kind of tell the differentiation. Now there's a lot of different versions of this Tank Solo. And this particular watch, once again, is the largest version. And I want to display it on my wrist because I want you to realize that this is a big watch as well. And it looks really great on my wrist in addition to the rest of these. So I've chosen all of the watches that look best on my large wrist because most people don't realize how big that XL pattern is in all of the different Cartiers. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to use this video to help learn a little bit more about what might work on your wrist. And if you have any other questions, you can always give us a call here at SwissWatchExpo. Visit us at SwissWatchExpo.com. We constantly have new versions of these watches in our inventory. And once again, as I said to you, the Cartier Roadster is my favorite. So I highly encourage this particular watch, especially the 100th anniversary. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to pick it up. Ring the bell below, sign up with our YouTube. Make sure you follow us. We've got a lot of new things that we're bringing into our inventory. We've got a lot of interesting things and colors to see. But now you realize just how big these Cartier XLs are.